Okay, everybody, happy holidays to all of you. This is a new subject that just came in from, I guess, the other day. We were watching the Macy's Thanksgiving parade, Thanksgiving Day parade, where you have all of the wonderful balloons or something, hot air balloons or something. Is that? I'm not really sure. Hot air balloons sounds dangerous in on Fifth Avenue near Herald Square, where they have these wonderful elaborate performances, and kind of the whole thing is basically just to kind of get you to go into Macy's and buy stuff or whatever. And other department stores have their own. Gimbel's had one, I believe. Was it Gimbel's in Philadelphia? John Wanamaker or something like that. Great high end kind of department stores that I don't think there are there anymore. What am I thinking of other than Miracle on 34th Street? Mark Giacomo and Chris Hassler did a VHS Rewind episode, and they do this every year, every Thanksgiving. For the last couple of years, it's very entertaining to hear them talking about these Thanksgiving Day parades. For the couple of years previous, they were doing the Macy's stuff because a lot of that stuff was easily available on them for YouTube to watch. So, and it's a great museum piece for the time. I highly recommend it. Go up and dig those up. VHSRewind.com. It's also where I publish my vintage cable box stuff. But every Thanksgiving they do these great specials. And this year they did something different. It wasn't Macy's. It was Foley's, some kind of department store, I guess out west, maybe partially the Midwest, maybe a chain of department stores called Foley's. And this was in Houston, and Bronson Pinchot was their celebrity du jour for that one. And it's such a strange give and take between Bronson Pinchot and the hosts of the parade. But it's virtually the same kind of concept, except it's a little lower rent, right, than New York. New York is like, it's glitzy, celebrities everywhere. This particular parade, I think, had Natalie Cole at the end singing something. It had Robert Patrick from T2 at the time. This was 1991. Foley's no longer in business. They explain a little bit of that when they're doing the show. But we get to the end of Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, and I'm just thinking in the back of my head, I really want to see a gender fluid Santa this year. Just, it's not that I agree with the concept. I just think the parade should be a reflection of its time. Bronson Pinchot was on top of the world. There was no celebrity he could not have sex with in 1991. He was making billions of dollars. He was a household name. He was Balky. He was Balky. Perfect Strangers. Balky with Mark Lynn Baker. Mark Lynn Baker, I believe, also makes an appearance on that show. Mark Lynn Baker was such a non-entity when he first started out. I believe it was either in the Woody Allen movie Annie Hall or the other one, Manhattan. He had a very quick, brief part in either of those two movies. I'm not sure which one. It might have been Manhattan. But they so did not care that he is credited as Mary Lynn Baker. This is true. This is absolutely true. I am absolutely true when I say this. Mary Lynn, you are a Mary. You are a Mary. He likes to roll. Back when he was on the talk show circuit, he used to roll out that gem once in a while. Mary Lynn Baker, everybody. And Bronson Pinchot. So, at the end of this particular Macy's parade, the parade, maybe I watched, maybe I cared when I was a kid or something, but my wife and my daughter watch it. They watch it every year. The hot air balloons or whatever. These balloons are going down. I can't think of the name of what these things are called. Anyway, they're flying. They're going down Fifth Avenue. Nothing, no calamities, nothing like that. It's hard though. I understand how hard it is for all the people on the panel, the spectators or the hosts. I believe it's Matt Lawler and some chick who looks like Katie Couric but isn't. Couldn't possibly be because she looked too young, wearing too much makeup too. She had a whole bunch of. She had like if you know a little bit about makeup and all that stuff, you can tell when someone has not had enough sleep. They got bags under their eyes. So the reason you can tell they have the bags under their eyes is because somebody puts this makeup under their eyes and it's so obviously there. And high def, you can't really hide a multitude of sins with high def on a big screen. Anyway, this woman looked a lot like Katie Couric. It could not possibly have been, because I think Katie Couric has short blonde hair these days. I'm not sure. This one had long auburn hair, I would say. And like I said, made up. What happened to Matt Lauer? When I was a kid, Matt Lauer wasn't even on NBC yet. He was on WWOR Channel 9's Secaucus, New Jersey's morning show. And he had hair. And he'd seemed to have first gone gray and then started to become shorn and then cropped, and then eventually now he kind of looks like, Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. Make it so. Make it so. So we go through this whole thing, and it's like it's everybody's lip syncing. Almost everybody's being auto-tuned. You're being auto-tuned and lip synced. I mean, you're auto-tuning your lip sync, which I don't understand the concept. Now auto-tuning seems to have taken on its own music form. It used to be that you auto-tuned. I wrote an article about this for Pro Audio. I think it was called Pro Audio. I was talking about Adios Johnny Bravo was the name of the article, and I wrote this article because I used as my kind of reference an episode of The Brady Bunch. It's weird how I'm going back to The Brady Bunch. I was just talking about Robert Reed last night. There was an episode of The Brady Bunch where Greg becomes a rock star or something like that. He comes to, people think he's got the look. He's got the look. And they're like, we want to make you a star. We're going to call you Johnny Bravo. So he's like, Greg playing around with his guitar or whatever. He's just kind of like a strummer. He's kind of an emo for like the early 70s. And they give him sunglasses. They give him a jean jacket. They give him groupies. And he is, he's doing his stuff. But what he does is like this kind of hard rock stuff, I guess. But they layer his voice under all of this studio mess. It's like overdub after overdub after overdub. But they create a wall of sound around Johnny Bravo there. And Greg has a crisis of conscience. He doesn't want to be misrepresented. He wants people to dig him for who he is. God bless him. God bless Greg Brady and everything that he does. I love Greg Brady. And if you love Greg Brady, when you hit your knees tonight, ask God to love him too. He says, I can't do this. I'm not a phony. I'm not a fake. I want to be genuine. I want my music to be dug. I don't want it to be soaked through in syrup and overproduced. Anyway, it's interesting to watch these young people. There's a girl, Olivia Holt. I actually remember her. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. Okay, what was it? There was a show that Regan briefly watched when she was a toddler, and it was on the Disney Channel, I think. It was called Kickin' It. And it was this beautiful, beautiful blonde girl on the show called Olivia Holt. And apparently she's a singer now because, if you're a celebrity in any capacity and you're really beautiful, then God damn it, you're a singer too. So what? We've decided this. So she's over there lip syncing. I'm not sure if she's auto-tuned. She might have been auto-tuned. She might not have been. She's kind of like, I guess, she's one of these tarty jail baity types, like a Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne I'd love to talk about at some point too, because everybody seems to hate her. You should see all the ire. It's worse than Taylor Swift. But they're trying to give all these girls complexes by telling them they're either too fat or too thin. I mean, that's sort of the altered, double-edged beast of social media, is that, yeah, you can have a vociferous fan base, but you can also have an army, a legion of haters and detractors. They just hate you. It's interesting. There were others saying, Gwen Stefani. I remember seeing Gwen Stefani singing something around rocking around the sling. I forget the name of the song, and rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday, something like that. Anyway, I love her. She can actually sing. And Bronwyn is not a big fan of Gwen Stefani. She likes One No Doubt album, but one thing she always, acquiesces to is the fact that the lady can sing. There are some people who can sing and some people who can't. Adele can sing. Gwen Stefani can sing. Lady Gaga can sing. Kelly Clarkson can sing. I'm a little bit on the fence about Katy Perry. I think, but I'm gonna perhaps I'll either shock or not shock you. I don't think Beyonce can sing. I think Beyonce mumbles. I think she doesn't have very good diction. I think she's a shower singer at best. I don't think she really sings all that well. Everything that she sings sounds like this. Everything, and that's not singing. That's just kind of a weird atonal thing where you're just kind of doing this really fast all the time. Every single one of her songs sounds like this. It's just that's not singing. That's typing. To quote Truman Capote, or misquote him, I should say. So we're going through the parade. It's very well put together the way they do things. I mean, the technology is great, except you still have to rely on like 20 people holding a rope and you try to make sure that this thing doesn't go flying into the air and fuck with airplane traffic, and or possibly cause some kind of a horrible Woody Woodpecker-ish type incident, a la Seinfeld or something like that. So, they enjoy the parade. Regan gets bored. She'll leave the room. She'll go put on a Nintendo DS or whatever, or play something on the laptop, or listen to music. And Mommy has to pause it every once in a while because relatives are calling, and I'm getting the turkey ready and everything. I'm doing all my thing. I prepare my stuffing the night before. I get it all ready to go. I stick it in the fridge, and then I have to get up, throw it in the oven. And then we're off. And then after that, so we kept pausing this thing, and then finally we get to the end. We finally come to the end of my story. How about that? And I know Santa's going to come out. Santa is the the figurative ejaculation of this particular scene. Once you see Santa, he's like the fat lady in the opera. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. It ain't over till Santa finally shows up. And I was thinking, I want to see a gender fluid Santa, because it's all about gender fluidity now. We have 63 different classifications of gender. It used to be man and woman, male and female. It's not anymore. Now they want to conflate a person's, sexual orientation or sexual desire into a form of a gender. And how they want to be presented to the world, that has to go into it too. And what color scarf they wear, and what color coat they're going to wear. All of that goes into gender. Everything is about, you're going to have to put, it can't just be 63. It has to be 370 million genders. You have to have 370 million genders, and everybody cannot be one of another group. Every one person is its own group. So you're going to have, you're going to have your lesbian Eskimos. You're going to have your Filipino houseboys that enjoy cats. You're going to have gay people that identify as straight. You're going to have straight people that identify as gay. And then finally, you're going to have Kevin Spacey, whatever that is. Kevin Spacey, a little disappointed about that. He was one of my favorite actors for a long time. I really enjoyed him. Swimming with Sharks, The Usual Suspects, Seven, Glengarry Glen Ross, Outbreak. You notice I'm mentioning a lot of early films. The Ref, which we're going to watch on Christmas Eve. We're going to watch The Ref. I have decided to not let Spacey's impulses ruin his work for me, at least in that regard. I think it goes off the rails with American Beauty. The thing about it, Bronwyn was always convinced that he was gay, and he's a closeted gay person for a long time until he decided to come out and sort of create subterfuge as to why he's interested in the young men. And the gay community hates him for it because he was never a good gay, in their words. This was an interview with someone who said that Spacey hiding his homosexuality. because if I guess maybe at around the time that he was starting out his career, if you knew somebody was gay or something, very, very fewer parts or something, available, that's fine. But you got to be true to yourself. You can't lie. Come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? You lie, it becomes easier to do other things. And if you lie on a daily basis, it's going to escalate. You tend to get worse in your fetishes. You don't get better. You don't say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I should stop jerking off 15 times a day. Maybe I should cut it down to 1. But it doesn't really work that way. And then it becomes, I should stop jerking off 30 times a day. I should stop jerking off 50 times a day. I can't breathe after all that. Anyway, so it only made sense to have a gender fluid Santa. I wanted to see a cherub-faced, black, possibly black, mannish woman or femi-man, with an earring and some kind of a chin beard, but have the soft features of a female's face. Okay, all right, what would be a good one? Wendy Williams, but not without the blonde hair. Take Wendy Williams' blonde hair, put a gray curly wig, and a little bit of a chin beard and an earring, and maybe like a little prison tat on her face, and maybe a tongue stud. That would be a good one. A tongue stud. Santa with a tongue stud. Going home to bang Mr. or Mrs. Claus, or it's none of our business if it's a Mr. or a Mrs. Remember that, kids. It's none of your business. Don't ever assume, because you're going to piss off people who make asses out of you and me. So, Wendy Williams in a nice fat suit, too. Suspenders, of course. The black boots, but they should be buttoned up jack boots. Like your typical UK 1960s, 1970s bull dyke lesbian who walks around in the street with a pickaxe and is marking off certain buildings or pieces of property that she's going to destroy because, I don't know, she's not a mod or a rocker. She's Polythene Pam. She's, that song, Abbey Road, I think. John Lennon. Have you seen Polythene Pam? She's so good looking, but she looks like a man. You could say she was attractively built. That's really all I got out of that one. Not a big John Lennon guy, but I like all of the weird, ridiculous songs he did. I didn't like his serious, social conscious bullshit. He's the first social justice warrior. And probably the first limousine liberal, if I understood the usage of that word correctly. So Santa, starts coming out. I guess Jingle Bells. Are we doing Jingle Bells? I don't even know. It's like ding 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 ching 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 ding dong, balaku la 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 lo 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 lo, whatever. Something like that. Or we wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And he's coming out. And unfortunately, well, before we get to it, I had to make a bet. I said $5. $5. He's gender fluid. It's gender fluid. Isn't that rude? You really gonna go around calling somebody it's? Where's your life partner, Benjamin? Oh, it's in the kitchen making dinner. Really? You're gonna say that? It's. Or are we doing the Z thing? Z and Zer? I mean, Z's in the kitchen, Zer's over. I don't understand what the people have a problem with the word, with the letter H. We can't say he's in the her, she. H and S, you can't do that. Z. Z means male and female. Z's in the kitchen with Dinah. Z's in the kitchen, I know. I could have been a singer. I really could have. So, okay. I say $5. This is going to be a gender fluid Santa. And Regan has such an attitude about her. I mean, I love her to death. And she's got a freaking attitude about her, somewhere between some hideous mutation between me and my wife. She's like, I'll take that bet, and I'm like, well, okay. You're really confident about this. Meanwhile, mommy, my wife, is like, don't take that bet. Don't take that bet. Don't take that bet. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You're not even going to, you're frightened. You don't want to bet on this. It's just like, it's possible. Anything is possible after everything we've seen this year. Anything's possible. But Regan is like steadfast in her belief because she's a Lawler. We all are steadfast in our beliefs. And she takes the bet. He comes out. He's he's your typical white guy with the beard, rosy cheeks and rosy nose, and this kind of creepy Harvey Weinstein gaze about him. Surrounded by a bunch of, I would love to say gender fluid elves, but no, these actually look like little women, little sprightly women, And I lost the bet. I lost $5, but I didn't. I only had $3 on me, $3 in a dollar bill. So I ripped off my wife for $2. Oh, there's the heater. It's kicking on. I ripped off my wife for $2 and gave Regan the $5. And so it goes, as Kurt Vonnegut says. We still have a white, bearded old man playing Santa Claus. And, that's nice. But 2018, you never know what's going to happen. 2018, we'll see what happens. I'm going to say goodbye. And I want to thank you for listening. It's been a lot of fun. Have a good night, everybody. And here is your outro. Good night.